What we have here for a quick review are two fantastic, highly allocated bottles. These are from Pursuit United, and if you followed Ryan Cecil and Kenny Coleman on their podcast called Bourbon Pursuit, you know that they have the #1 bourbon podcast in the U.S. Fred Minnick's part of that situation with his Above the Char every week, and out of that fantastic podcast where they would interview distillers, where they do interview distillers, not necessarily producers, barrel makers, yeast designers, and so on, and review different products. Out of that, they decided it was time for them to begin sourcing bourbon and rye of their own back in 2016. These are new in Missouri. They just dropped, and I have 2 sample bottles that are beyond delightful. The first one I'll talk about is this one. This is the bourbon, and the bourbon here is a blend of bourbon from Kentucky and from New York, which it's Finger Lakes, so it's Widow Jane, and Tennessee, but not George Dickel. So this is not Tennessee Dickel whiskey in there. It's at 108 proof, and I think that is just a perfect proof for this bourbon, because what that does, it gives the advanced aficionado a pour that is full of flavor. And at 108 proof, it's not so hot that somebody who's kind of coming up from those 80s and 90s proofs are turned off by it. So, you know, I don't rate color. I love the color, but I'm not going to rate it. It's really about nose, palate, and finish. So on the nose, we have sort of a nuttiness. It smells like a pear pie, like a sugary pear pie. There's dried fruit and lots of sweet oak. On the finish, on the palate rather. Again, those pears are coming through. There is definitely some cocoa notes. The sweetness is that brown sugar. The vanilla's come through again. But boy, the pear flavor, that apple pear pie is definitely there. And the finish is nice and warming. It's cinnamon. It has some zing to it. It has some heat to it, but not overwhelmingly so. That, my friends, is a winner. Now the rye. The rye is also 108 proof. You can see their method. They want to have proof points that are popular with both the novice to advanced and the advanced bourbon and rye enthusiast. So this one has distillate that's sourced from Bardstown Bourbon Company, just like the bourbon. And it has rye sourced from Sagamore Spirit in Maryland. And if you know Sagamore, they make some fantastic ryes. Their double oak rye is super nice. So this one, let's look at it. Check it out. Yep, there's color. On the nose, this definitely has a buttery nose. It has sort of a dried fig nose. Maybe there's a little bit of mint in there. Some baking spice as well. This is a rich nose. On the palate. It's all butter. Holy moly. If you were to take butter, melt it, and drip it into some maple syrup, maybe have some jam with it, some orange peel, some citrus, that's the palate. This is quite nice. And the finish, that orange, that citrus comes through in the finish for me. And I also get more like a clovish sort of baking spice finish. That is fantastic. So these 2 bottles, if you can find them, I can tell you where to get these right now. My friends over at Barrel Blends in Bridgeton. It's off the Rock Road. And they also have a location in Afton off of Watson / Chippewa. And what is it, right? No, I'm sorry. The Afton location's off Gravois, rather, not Watson. So Barrel Blends Bridgeton, Barrel Blends Afton. They currently, well, they should have these in stock very soon, I should say. I think they said tomorrow they should be in. The price is about $65 or so on them. And when they're gone, they're gone. So again, short allocation. I take advantage. Obviously I have. I've been enjoying the rye maybe a little too much, but good stuff, guys. Take care.